Well, hey, I'm back from another work trip, and look what happened when I was gone. A4Ts, we got quite a bit of snow on them. I think they said we had about 12 inches. But the driveway needs some attention because it drifted back in. Carl, the neighbor, hit it. But it needs some more work, and I need to clear out here in front of the barn, including shoveling out in front of the doors. And of course, the blade is behind the barn with the trailer in front of it. It's probably not going to want to move. But anyway, and it's negative 14 right now. So, a little chilly. Got a lot of clothes on. I do, if you'll see something here, it's a little different. My sleeves, I am retiring. I decided the old Carhartt. I guess it was enough time had gone by to quit making you look at my ragtag sleeves. It's so worn you can't even read Carhartt on the label anymore. So my front there, the storm flap is just absolutely threadbare, and it's probably soaked with enough oil and gasoline that if I burn it, it will probably be a large fire. So rest in peace. That coat gave me a lot of years of service. I think it's probably 15 years old. So Carhartt makes good stuff. New coats, TSC special. We'll see how it lasts, and I can already tell it's feeling a little, it's not as warm, but we'll deal with that. Got the truck plugged in. I came out and plugged that in this morning, and we'll see if we can get the jet rolling, and we'll go out and do some plowing. I'm probably not going to take you with me because there's no way I'm going to be able to hold a camera and film because it is cold. But bring you back in a little bit. We'll get heat going in here, maybe get some work done on the G1000. These thermos, it's reading, I don't know, 8 degrees on there, but I don't think that is super accurate. Neither one of these are. That one's reading 18. There's no way. It's, according to the phone, it was negative 14 a few minutes ago. So, all right, we'll be back in a little bit after I'm done freezing, plowing the driveway out. All right, I got done doing the driveway. Boy, the old jet did not want to start today. More about the battery than gas motor. Gas motor start battery was definitely complaining. So put a heater on it for a little bit, one of these heaters, and then she started. Got the driveway cleaned up. Just went out, did a bunch of, a lot of snow on the pool cover. So I was out there on my knees shoveling snow off the pool cover, and let me tell you what's not fun. But had the heaters going for a bit, so it's a little bit more tolerable over here in this area. And I got some packages this week while I was gone. First off being the muffler for the G1000, and then I got a box from Joe Pro. I just started to open it, but in here I know that there's a couple new old stock injection pump lines for the 302 diesel, and I had a couple that were pretty thin, so Joe tracked those down for me. And then here I've got one of his reproduction seats. I'm banging you all up. Sorry. Making sure there's nothing else in the box. So anyway, got one of his reproduction seat bases, which is what I'll put those cushions on that I got, and then put this on the G1000 when I get her done. Needs a coat of paint. No big deal. So, it's been making these for a couple years now, and this is the first one I bought, but it's not bad. That one got tweaked in a little bit. I want to tweak that out, but should be good. I want to get this up off the floor while I'm here because I don't want anything to happen to it. I'm trying to think what else I got. I got a radiator cap. I've got the old one cleaned up enough they could figure out what I needed. And so I got a new radiator cap. And I've been communicating with Dean Zingray about all the parts I need to get the propane on this going, the regulator, the filter for in here, the geez, what else is he sending me? Sending me a few other parts. So when those arrive, he sent them with some other boxes, and we kind of are laughing through a text message that they I know all of the valves and everything for the tank. But anyway, it's been basically lost, and they just found it today in South Carolina. So this thing's went from Arizona. It's kind of going all over the place. So kind of crazy. It's kind of weird, but got frost building up on the motor here. I guess that's my fault for having the heaters going on it. One of the other things I want to do is I want to put some air, just rethinking this, some air into the tank here, and then test it for leaks. But soapy water is going to freeze awful quick out here, so I might hold off doing that actually. So, but one of the first things I can do is I can get the fan back on here now that I've got the belts on, and got the radiator back in. So I'm going to work on doing that. All right, had a little pause there. It's kind of a major pause. Buddy renting the township hall and called and said that pipe broke. And anyway, I went over to help, and yeah, the place flooded. So anyway, a couple hours later, I'm back at it. But I got this on. You can see I got a hardened nut back here because the other one was kind of rounded. It's hard to get to. If you can see on the back side, there is the bolt that goes through for the air cleaner, which we're going to put on next. And it's super tight. It's really hard to get a wrench on. So I wanted a nut on there that was hardened so I wouldn't round it maybe as much. And so I got the fan on, and got belts nice and tight. So we're going to put the air cleaner on now, which is kind of a pain. So that bolt that's through for the bottom down here, you got to put that one on first, and then we'll line up the top one and put it on, and then tighten it all down. And there's a bracket on there that holds the wire harness, so I'll make sure I get that back on. And I put a new bolt in when I had all that off, because the old bolt was a little chewed up. So, all right, well, that's what we're going to do next. Get my rags out of the way. See if I can get you guys set up here. I don't know how well this is going to show it, but we'll be back in a second. All right, this is going to be kind of awkward. We're going to crawl up on the tractor here. Get this kind of lowered down in there. I got to guide that. Oh, almost fell. Almost fell. Standing on the front axle here. All right, here I got it on the bottom bolt. Got to get that in there, and of course I set my nut and washer where I can't reach it. So stand by while I reach back and grab those. Try this again. Oh, come on. Now my wire harness bracket went on before. There we go. Alright, got that started, so that'll hold now. Let me get my other bolt. gonna go around the other side to put that through. It's still cold, even with both heaters going. It's a chilly day. Of course, this one's a little more difficult to reach around and get the back side to hold it while I get my nut started. Yeah, my hand is steaming. That's how cold everything is. All right, so there those are. I'll tighten those up, and then I'll put that back on there, and yeah, and that's one more thing done. I did get the pipe off the top. I got that done. I don't think I showed that, but just before I left, the penetrant worked on that, and I did get the top piece off too, which is over there. So anyway, let me get the right tools to tighten this up, and I'll get this tightened up. I don't know how it works for you guys, but it feels like I spent half my day looking around for tools that I know I just had. Just the way it goes. This is spinning on the back side. That's not going to be good because I can't really get a wrench down in there. Not a great design of how they put that bolt behind that nut. So far, so good. All right, tight. Then we can put this back on. It is being stubborn, probably because it's cold. There we go. And I need a screwdriver. Tighten her up. And it's one last thing to do. I need to go over and get the radiator cap also and put it on. I got back in town kind of late yesterday, so I didn't talk to my machine shop guy to figure out where things stand with the heads, but I'm sure he's working on it. All right, there we go, all installed. Still got to get the alternator over to Phil. Maybe tomorrow I'll run over there, see what he's doing, and we'll throw it on the bench and just see how it does. Okay, how it does on the bench, like makes you sure if it needs rebuilt or if it's still okay. That's what I was trying to say there. Okay. I'm gonna pause this for a minute because I gotta see what I want to do next. I mean, there's 100 things to do. I'm just not sure what I want to do next. All right, other thing I guess I wanted to show you is I've got this all freed up. I can spin it around using the pipe wrench real easy. Kept soaking it with penetrant, so that's good. I'm gonna have to get the bearing that goes in there. It's kind of a roller ball bearing. This one broke, but I know since I'm doing that side, I'll probably get the one for both, do both sides, and then this seat's pretty much done at that point. Not a lot of play there. I need to, tomorrow I'll probably get the clips that go in here that take the screws. These are bad, or were bad. And then put this plate, I can basically put this cover back on. And then that's done. I guess the other thing I could do today is I could put some, should I test the tank today? I think all my soapy water out here is probably frozen. That might be a tomorrow thing. Because once I get that figured out, actually I could pull the tank off and test it. Might be easier to loosen up all the fittings on there if it's still on. I got to think about that some more. Got to process that. All right, what's next? Trying to think what other parts I got that I can do on this. We'll be back. Alright, as I've kind of been here looking at things, assessing where I'm at. I was looking at the old starter and I'm like, well, it's only a 2-wire, but I see that one of the spades broke off on there, and there it is on another wire. So that's probably why they quit using that. So I was looking at the other side. I'm like, well, how did they wire up the new key switch? And fortunately for me, they just grabbed a bunch of wires and took them straight down to the starter, and so they didn't cut into the wire harness. So I should be able to get rid of that key switch and then use the old one. Kind of looking around at some other things I could do. I tell you, the cold is killing me. It's so cold that, like, I have some stuff I want to do in the parts washer, but getting my hands in there would be miserable because it's like so cold. And I did pull off the nose piece up here. So what I'm going to do, and I need to get these off both hoods, but on this one they put bolts with little nuts behind them. And so I put penetrant on those, and tomorrow I'll try to get those off. And I'll get those plates off, clean them up, and get those in the house to do my decal kit on. Might as well do that while it's nasty outside. And I'll do the same on the nose piece here. Just pulled it off. And I don't know how this thing was sitting in the barn, but it definitely got crusty with the rust. I'll clean this up. Probably put it in the sandblast cabinet, clean it up, we'll get it painted. But anyway, just shut off my heaters. I think last thing I'm going to do today is I want to paint this with high temp paint, the exhaust manifold before I put it on, but it's covered in rust. So I'm going to quick wire wheel it and then probably be done for today. Fighting a little jet lag, and so might as well go in the house and do a few things and you know, be ready to go tomorrow. I might go over and finish. I was doing a little shoveling job earlier. I might go finish that. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I put off till tomorrow, which you can get done today, right? Alright, we'll come back out tomorrow and see. It's still going to be cold, but I might be able to do a few more things tomorrow. Alright, it's Sunday. Got distracted with a couple things in the house, but I think what I'm going to do today, before I fire up the heat in here, is we're going to take off the tank. Just decided I think that's probably the thing to do, and maybe the dual cones, because we're going to have the gantry over here, so do both at the same time. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I think I have an idea on how to get these off. So, if those bolts come free. So, I guess first things first, let's see if the 302 will start. I just pulled the truck out. Let's see if it's a little warmer today, like, I don't know, it's probably 15 now. So, sorry, I'm a little stiff from some shoveling yesterday. Let's see what she's gonna do. battery more than anything. Everything's cold. It and the truck run for a few minutes just because it's cold like this. I hate starting them and then just shutting them down right away again. Probably not the best thing to do for them. So I got to clean some cords out of the way and some different things to get the gantry over there and make room for it. But I'll bring you guys back in a couple minutes here when we're set. I gotta prep the tank a little bit. I gotta pull off the valves over here, the handles, and then there's 2 bolts back here that of course are going to be a real pain to get to, and then there's 2 up here that are a little bit easier to get to, and I gotta undo this line that runs underneath here also. So we get this prepped and then we'll be back to pull this thing off hopefully. All right, got the gantry over here. Got out the 4 bolts, and I also took off the line down here, and I got off the valve handles back here. So they're done. Yeah, got those off up here. Now I need to finagle this thing out of here to make sure the valve's clear, make sure I don't snag anything. I got a chain kind of run around the tank, and so we'll try to take it up a little and then bring it out, I guess is going to be my plan. So I don't even know where to set you guys up. I'm going to move some penetrant cans. We'll just set you down here and you can watch that. Make sure the valves come out all right. I think I need to kind of tilt the tank forward. I mean, I need to get the front of the tank up. To clear that plate that it was mounted to up there. And then that allows the tank to move forward just a tad. And tack cable out the way. Of course I need Alright, in order to get tack cable out there, I'm going to have to take it off. I'm going to get some small channel locks or pliers, because I've had this off and I'm sure that it's not going to want to come on off up here at the engine, but it's turning. Problem is the whole thing's turning, it's not just the nut. Alright, come on. It's a nice sunny day out. I mean, it's cold, but it's sunny. Alright, and of course there's a clamp up here that is tight. a screwdriver to wedge that apart. Sorry, I'm walking you guys around. Got that free. All right. Tack cable is free, so that'll be out of the way. All right, I got clearance up here at the studs. That was the old starter switch. It just came off. I'm snagging a wire. Let go. Okay. All right. And there you go. Gonna guess this was mounted here. Don't know why, but put that with the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna put 2 nuts that came off those bolts. Since they're in there with bolts they came off of, so I keep all that together. And that's what we're looking at. Here's where I was talking about. They did me a favor. They ran all these wires straight. Huh. Yep, farmer fix right there. So all I'm going to do is take that stuff off. Unfortunately, these just came off, which you're going to have to figure out which wire goes to what as to why those just came off. Should have taken a picture of that. Anyway, here's what we're here for today. And got the tank hanging. So I'm going to move it back to the, get it past the tractor so that I can put it back here on the floor someplace and actually mess with it. But I think I'll leave it up that high until I get it past the tractor. So set you guys up over here. And go back and forth between the other side and this side. Awful tight in here. I should have moved things around a little bit, like the quad is not in the way. What I need is a bigger barn. I need another barn I can put stuff in, and then just make this the work-on shop, which is the plan. Sooner or later. Could have been now, except the state of Ohio and their infant wisdom wants to, again, this roadway thing. Route 23 bypass, or I don't know what it is, but anyway, we're kind of hesitant to spend any money to do anything until we know what's going on with that. So let me lower this down, which you're not going to want to listen to the chains fall. I'm actually going to take these off before I get to do that because I don't want to mess those up. When I set it on the floor and then put it on the floor, and then we'll look at the dual cones. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, be back in a minute. All right, so got 3 of the nuts off already. I've got a strap kind of going through the middle of it, coming through the hole there in the wheel and up, and I got another strap going around the outside of it, just because I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know that, hopefully this thing doesn't hit the floor. That's all I got to say, because these things are heavy. So I'm going to set you guys up probably down here on the floor, because I don't know where else to put you. And I'm going to get that last bolt out. We'll see what happens here. Hopefully we don't have a catastrophe. Oh. Put some tension on that. So it should be pretty much free, I think. If I did this right, it should be. But she's not, because she's wedged in there. So, got good tension there. Just want to make sure this thing isn't going to hit the floor. I'm going to have to get a pry bar and get it out of where it's set into the inner wheel there. Maybe. She is not going to want to come out of there. All right. Maybe with a little help with a hammer. That ain't budging it. At all. How do you do that? I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Just gotta think about this. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But it sits down in between these things here. So it's kind of wedged in there, I'm guessing. So what I need to do is get some kind of something back there to push it out of that groove, and then it will, once you get really one side of it free, the rest of it will pop out, would be my guess. I'll put a little more up pressure on it and maybe try to do something around the bottom side. I don't know. Bring it back here in a minute. I gotta think about this. All right, I found the right pry tool. Got behind it and hit it a few times. It just broke free. So, pretty much free right now, I think. Except it's still on one stud over here. Oh, yeah. She heavy. Get it down closer to the floor and we'll move it out of here. All right, I'm gonna go to the other side. All I can smell right now is propane from this tank. So, I don't know where it's coming from, but someplace. Alright, I think I'm just going to let it down here and then I will move this thing around. I think what I want to do is, yeah, I guess I can let it down like that. So that way then I can kind of roll it. Or slide it. Need to do some research exactly how much these things weigh. All I know is from the other ones that I got from Justin, but they're heavy. Like, I don't know that I actually picked one up, but just sliding them around is not a whole lot of fun. So, what holds them on the inside of the cast wheel is this big, thick stud that takes 1.5 inch socket to get off, because obviously that nut wasn't coming. But anyway, 2 of them stayed in, 2 of them came out. All right, I'm gonna kind of move it out of the way and then we'll go to the other side. All right, I've got the gantry swung over. I got this side done. The other side is now set up, and we'll go over there. Second, we'll move that out of the way. I was thinking of something funny, like, I don't know what I'd do without this gantry. This thing is a force multiplier for me, working out here by myself all the time. Makes things a lot safer, makes things so I can do them without bothering neighbor Carl all the time. But funny thing came to my mind is Moline Dan up there. He's got Nick and Jake. And if you watch any of his videos, which I'm pretty sure if you're watching me, you watch Dan, my gantry and these chain falls, they're my Nick and Jake. The 2-ton, sorry Nick, but that's you. Just because I've seen Jake and you, and you'll get there. But the 3-ton, that's Jake. The 2-ton's Nick. And those are my go-tos when I need to get stuff done. Is he can just call in the house. I got to roll the gantry over here. So anyway, all right, got it set here. I'll get you guys set up over here so that I'll take these nuts off, and then I've got everything set up to hopefully knock it free, and we'll get this one out of here too. I set the other one just there on the floor on the other side of the tank. I'm thinking maybe I'll load those in the bucket of the jet and take them around the other side of the barn yet today. We'll just see how things go, and that way they're out of my way until I decide what I'm going to do with them. Maybe on an A4T. Haven't decided yet. Okay, stand by. All right. I've got some tension on it. That's the whole stud. Whole stud. I did soak these. I've been soaking them since I got it, but I've only been soaking this end, so obviously it didn't help because this is another stud. All right, now I need my extension. Get the top one. Try to angle it in there. Get on it. it's just the nut. All right. We put a little more tension on it. Got quite a bit of tension on it. Get up a bar. Problem is, where this gantry sits, it's hard to get a good swing on it. Maybe this side. It's coming. There it is. It's free. Didn't really like having my back to it in case something went wrong. And I'm right there where it could fall on me, which wouldn't be very good. Get that stuff out of the way. Get her off this last stud. I'm going to have to go down a little. Maybe up. And we're free. All right. Let it down. I don't know how much you guys can see now that I got it down to this level. Swing it around. It's going to be pretty boring because this chain falls pretty slow. Jake's slower than Nick. I imagine that's because this is the 3-ton and when you're messing with more weight, so I don't want to go as fast. But it is smoother. All right. Let's swing it around a little bit. There is something to be said for the smaller chain fall. I like using it on smaller jobs because it moves faster and it, does everything I want it to do. It just, this one's big and heavy and the chain's heavy, and I don't always need that much weight, capacity, and everything else, and all the chains are longer. All right, got that out of the way, and get my straps off. And then we'll slip this one out of the way. Alright. Now I can get the gantry out of the way. So, there we go. Just one stud left on there. And this side's off. And it will make it a little easier to maneuver around this thing. I kind of had to leave it this far out from the wall so I could get that off, and then when I go to do tire work on this. So she should be a little narrower now by about, I think I did some measuring, about 2 foot narrower ish. So all right, I'm going to just wipe down the inside of the wheels there, because there's a lot of crud in there, and then I'm going to get the gantry out of the way. And I'm actually pretty warm. I don't think I'm going to fire up the heat. I went and got kerosene this morning at $82 for 14 gallons. So I'm not sure that I need to use heat today, especially since I'm moving around and I'm staying pretty warm. Okay, we'll be back here in a minute, but got 3 heavy things off this, and that propane tank is big. When you see it off the tractor, it's big. It's interesting how it's painted. I wonder if it's brown underneath, because it was on they planned it for or it's a leftover. This is a 67. Yeah, that could be. It was painted brown originally, and then they painted it yellow, and you can see on the edge there how there's some spray. So I'm going to guess maybe, or they replaced the tank at some point in time with a brown tank. I don't know, but anyway, you can really smell the propane. I got to figure out where my leak's at. Okay, we'll be back. All right, so I went in and thawed out my soap, and what I'm seeing is I'm getting bubbles from both of these valves. Put some compressed air in there. These were open. I didn't realize those were open. Close those. I don't know who did that, and I'm not getting anything up here from either of these. But regardless, Dean is sending me everything. Dean sitting out in warm Arizona. Appreciate you, Dean. Anyway, appreciate you that you worked hard enough in life to be out there someplace nice and warm. But anyway, definitely this is my replacing all these valves, and this tank should be okay, I would think. I do need to clean it up and get it painted, because this is, even if I polish this up, there's enough rust on this side and on the other side that she's not going to look so good on there. So we'll do that, and so at least now I know it does. It's the valves. It's not like I'm immersing the tank, but I don't think those tanks really ever spring a leak. I mean, I don't see any damage. I don't see any reason for that. So, all right, I am going to open those valves and let the air pressure out I just put in there, and then maybe we'll move the dual cones around back, get those out of the way so I'm not tripping over those all week. And gotta haul horse manure and do some other stuff. Oh, I do one thing. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put the cover back on here. We're going to basically put the seat back together. I went and got stuff this morning in order to do that. So we'll do that before I end the video for today. But yeah, we'll be back here in a minute after I open these valves and do that. All right, so I got 4 new 10 by 24, I think they are. And then I got the keepers for the back side to grab those, because those weren't on there. So gonna put the cover back on. Hopefully those screws will reach, because cover's not fitting great. Then again, I might have stepped on it. So all right, I gotta find a Phillips head, and we'll try to get this thing on here. All right, I can't get these bottom 2 ones in, and they weren't in there when I put this on, so it's just going to stay that way. So I've got this tension handle back on there. I've got a punch put through the other side to line it up, and then I'm going to tap that in the roll pin. You can see it. tap that roll pin in, and then that will be done. And I have some screws left over. I don't have a great place to set you guys up to watch this, so we'll bring you back and just show you how it works when it's done. It's not really exciting trying to watch me tap that roll pin in. Got it tapped in, and I'll take a glove off so you can see this better. Sorry, I'm using my other hand that I'm holding the camera with. Take my glove off, but still stiff, but at least I can adjust it, and I'll keep putting main thing is it turns, and it didn't when I took this apart. One other thing I need to do right now is I mentioned that I got to get a new one of these bushings for in here. I need to tap those out. I can get those at the regular hardware store, so I'll do that and get my new bolts. I'm going to do that here in just a minute. Tap those out and get my bolts together in a bag so I know next time I'm at the hardware store I get the right stuff. And I'll bring it back after I tap those out, because, well, Jay-Z, if you're watching, couldn't find my other hammers, so this is what I'm using. All right, I'll figure out how to tap these out real quick, and I'll show them to you. All right, so I got them both knocked out. This is the one that was in bad shape, but I took them both out. I'll measure these and go get the right stuff. The bolts that hold those on, there's two different ones, but they're fine thread. So, just so you know. And, yes, I used the claw hammer, because that's what I can find right now. And I know my good old friend Jay-Z, his son watches Denver, and I know that he will tell his dad, he used the claw hammer again. It's all right. Got to do what you got to do sometimes. All right, we'll see if the jet will start. I'll move some stuff around. We'll work on getting these dual cones out back, so they're out of the way, so I'm not tripping over them for, who knows how long. All right, I got the jet started, and I made sure, hopefully, we can get out back without getting stuck. So let's roll these things in the bucket and go. Weight in the bucket doesn't lighten up the rear end enough that it makes a difference, but it might. That would stink. But the 302's running, so if I gotta drag this thing out, got it. had it out here running. I got to haul a horse manure. Probably going to need to go four-wheel drive on this. I got to hook up the manure wagon and then get this out of the way. We'll be back in a second. Alright, let's see if we can get there. Oh, she's spinning. We're there. The other cones, so we'll get these put over there too. I'll rearrange this stuff so they're not so much in the way here coming up. That got me out of breath a little. Sun's getting low. kind of good that this thing leaks so much hydraulic fluid from the back, because I can see exactly where the tires were the last time I parked it. So all I do is aim to put tire tread on top of those jet. She works a lot. She doesn't get a lot of love. I mean, she gets a lot of love from me. I'm just saying, like, I spent a lot of time working on everything else around here. I need to spend more time on. I shouldn't call her the money maker, but she definitely makes things better around here. All right, we'll get the 302 in. Probably good for it to be sitting out here warming up. That's the problem. One rear wheel's up in the barn and the other one's on the lip. And can't get any traction, even with new tires on the back. Difficult because propane tank is there and it wasn't there when I pulled this thing out. Almost there. I can live with that. I like this tractor a lot. I like them all, but I like these propanes. Never thought I'd say that in my life because, you know, what you don't know, you're afraid of, I guess. It's a little tight in here. I'm gonna have to move that tank out of there, or I'm not gonna be able to cut around behind. So, all right, need to go dump horse manure. Need to get the truck in here. Need to hook the battery tenders back up. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully all the valves and everything for that are coming. Although I got to figure out if I should paint it before I put the new valves in, which is going to be a challenge, especially since it's cold and I would have to do it someplace else. But I've got plenty to work on here. I can work on some of the wiring stuff, cleaning out stuff from in there. I got to talk to my machine shop guy this week. Got plenty to do. So stay tuned. Be back next weekend with more on this project. Hopefully it's a slight bit warmer. Please like and subscribe. And hey, if you got any comments, let me know. Let me know how you're getting through all this cold and snow, because I know everybody's dealing with it right now. At least everybody that I know, except Dean, who's out in Arizona. I like it though, Dean. Good for you, man. Good for you. All right, we'll be back next weekend. Have a good week.